A wise man once said that a man is a child that never grows up and a woman a student that never graduates. Now, if you believe this to be true, then surely that means that somebody will always be the teacher in a relationship. Is that a good thing, though? Are women always predisposed to having to train their men and raise them right in the way of that relationship because maybe their parents didn't raise them right? Let's find out right after this. Welcome to Love Lounge. Now, every week I get messages from people saying that they're looking for the perfect man and they meet him and they think, you need to tweak him just small here and there. And I've got two people in the studio with me who are going to be explaining why we should do that because maybe they weren't raised right. Starting with Oscar. You agree completely, obviously.
I was raised right, disclaimer. Yeah, I mean, everybody needs tweaking. I think the best analogy was one given by a man of a pastor, and he said that marriage is like sandpaper, a rough sandpaper and wood, and when they rub each other long enough they smoothen each other off, and the personalities that the couples have or the partners have, I think the ultimate aim is to smoothing one another and over time learn. So I think it cuts both ways, you know. But every guy is a child at heart. So I might not be able to argue completely that we men need some chipping just off the block.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Mayowa's laughter just says everything. And the show is over. It's finished. She's answered all the questions. Let's go.
Men are babies.
Hey, I'm right here.
Yes, you're a baby. Exactly. My point. Men are babies. You see, here's the thing. I say to every female, because I can't say women, lady, girls, you're not sure which one, so I'm just going to keep it at female, you see. I say to every female.
Or males that dress like females.
That's why, let's keep it at female. These days we're not really sure. Female. You know, we don't know what's walking on the streets of wherever it is that we live. Now, you have to be a little bit of a man sculptor. Now, that's just my word.
A man's what?
Sculptor.
Sorry, she's going to explain what she means by sculpting of the man.
Yes.
Are we talking externally or internally? Or the two, both of them?
Emotional.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Love Lounge, where today we have Mayowa, aka Michelangelo, who is going to be explaining to us how when you say you want a man with chiseled abs, what you actually mean is you're going to what? Cut his abs. Please explain.
Yes, man sculptor, that's the word. And that's my word, and I take credit for it. Yes. Every woman is looking for something in a man. Well, some women don't know until they meet the man, and then they're like, okay, I want this, I want that. But I want to believe every mature woman knows what she wants. If you find a man, emphasis on if, because these days there are lots of boys. There are no men, you see. So if you're lucky enough to find a man, by a man, I still mean a baby that is grown a little bit, because they're still all babies anyway. If you're lucky to find a man, you need to infuse in him something that helps him grow into becoming the man that you want him to be. Now, that's different from changing a man. You can never change a man, really. Men change because they want to. And that's because they love you enough to change. It's not because you know anything about Snake in the Monkey Shadow style. You know, just leave it at that. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so where I'm struggling with right now is what it looks like when you're trying to change a man and when you're trying to raise a man, I guess. You're trying to raise him from being a baby, a demanding, self-entitled baby into a more considerate man, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between changing and
I'll give you a
raising?
I'll give you a short example. For example, he is my man right now. I mean, right now, he's my man. Oh, I'm fine.
Okay.
So, this is me trying to change him. He's loud. He talks loud. He likes to shout when he's with his friends. That's who he is. I can't come in one day and tell a 40-year-old man, stop screaming when you're talking. My God, that's who he is. That's me trying to change him. He can never change. He will only get upset. He will feel like I'm trying to oppress him. He will feel like I'm trying to control him.
He'll shout louder.
He will shout just to piss me off, you see. But that is me trying to change him. Now, me trying to raise him is, you don't know this set of people can you be calm till you get to know them a little bit before you get all friendly, chatty, and all loud?
Welcome back to Love Lounge, where Oscar has decided that he can sculpt women out of what, red dresses?
No, come on. I'm just borrowing the analogy. But I mean, to a large extent, every relationship is different, is unique. It's like a snowflake, it's like a fingerprint, and it's your job to understand the mumu buttons of your partner. If I want to get the best out of my wife, I know where to blow hot, where to blow cold. And to answer the question of how do you know the intentions, at the end of the journey, at the end of the day, if the partner really, really loves you, they know that it's not to hurt you, but to make you a better version of yourself. Okay,
so here's the thing. I've watched documentaries about people who've been in abusive relationships, even celebrities who talk about the kind of people they've dated and their tendency to like certain kind of personality that they shouldn't date. And they say things like, I've been to weddings where they say this as well, where, you know, I've dated a lot of people, but nobody like you. You're the first person who taught me what it is to be in love, who taught me what love means. And when they go further, they say, my parents never taught me how to love. So when your parents raise you, they're teaching you to be a good boy, a good girl, how to cook, how to do whatever it is parents are supposed to teach. How do parents miss teaching you how to love? Or is it something that's impossible to teach? And is that part of the reason why you then have to raise your partner, male or female, to learn and know how to love?
Like he said, every marriage, every relationship is unique. When it comes to learning or giving love, it has nothing to do with what you've learned. It has to do with how you decide to see or use what you have learned. I made a decision when I got married. I made a decision to love him. And if you make a decision, whatever you do is true because it's your decision. I'm an adult. I'm responsible for my actions. So if I made a decision to love you, Oreka, as my friend, hell, whatever you do is okay. I may be upset. I may talk to you about it, but I cannot stop loving you as my friend. So you see, what you do with what you've learned is all on you. The same thing with love, giving, taking. In
addition to that, when it comes to the issue of relationships or marriage, but I think I'll lean more to marriage, it's a clash of personalities. That's what most people fail to realize. They know, but it doesn't dawn on you until you actually get in. It's a clash of personalities. A certain lady was raised in a certain way to handle men in a certain way because maybe her father was violent or her father was not someone who was very expressive, and they project that on you, the guy. So you, the guy, need to be able to just separate and discover where that emotion is coming from and then attack it and then change her mindset. I married my wife in my 3rd year of dating, in my mind's eye. It wasn't a proposal, it wasn't a ring. I just said, okay, this is the woman I want to be with. Let's act as if, or let me act as if I was married. So no hanky-pankies. If I'm going to be annoyed, that shouldn't be a reason to break up. So I conditioned my mind, which is the choice. And once you make that choice, everything that happens after that choice is made is on you. But do not expect your partner to transform or change into your ideal woman because you've agreed to marry her. No. It's managing the expectations and growing in that love that marriage is about, which is why it's not for children. It's for matured minds. So what if you are in a relationship with someone who is literally still mentally a child? I remember seeing a video on Instagram. A woman went away. You know how you guys do now. When I'm going away for a month, I have to cook and put everything in the freezer and fridge. Label it's Monday, yam, Tuesday. Because even after the food is in the fridge, there's no guarantee that you will be smart enough to decide what to eat. I've seen this happen, so I don't mean that in a derogatory way. That's okay. So this woman cooked food in the fridge, stocked everything up. She came back after a week. I'm sure you've seen this video, and there's maggots everywhere. In the kitchen. You've seen this video? No, I haven't actually. I'll send it to you. It is disgusting. On every level. He left pots, pans, everything, like from the table to the sink, everywhere is crawling with maggots. How are you living like that? I don't understand. Like, is it that how did you survive childhood? Is it that he ate and left stuff? And just left stuff like that. For a week. Now, for me, if I was the woman, right, what that has what that has shown me is that here's a guy whose hygiene is down south. Don't expect much. You only get disappointed when your expectations are high. So going into the marriage with that kind of a man,
she's already married.
Oh, they're already married.
Yes.
Can I take my statement back?
Welcome back to Love Lounge. I'm getting all kinds of conflicting messages. On Facebook, Richard said, we spend our lives being in control. It's important to surrender to your partner and have something truthful happen between you. It's better to know imperfection and help them become better. And there's another one here, this time from Twitter. Laura says, if you help your partner become better, you're doing yourself a favor. Happy home, happy heart, and all of that. And Doyin Ayo says, ask not what your partner can do for you.
Seriously?
But what you can do to help your partner. Provide more of what you want. And I guess maybe lead by example.
But I mean, let's be honest and be the devil's advocate. We're painting all these scenarios, but there's some people out there that have done exactly what we're advising, and the reward hasn't been encouraging, and they take that disappointment into the next relationship. If you only have one life to live and you invest so much in a person, you need to give room for disappointments. And I think that's another area most people don't talk about, but should address. Don't get your hopes too high.
So if you meet a guy who doesn't know that he should, you know, put cream on his elbows and doesn't open doors, you know, all the basic things like that, and you've trained him right, you've raised him in the way his mother and father couldn't, and you guys break up, would you be unhappy if he went back to his old ways with a new person? Or would you be happy if he's in a new relationship with somebody else and he's doing all those things and more and just flourishing and being the perfect man?
And you've invested in him.
Yes.
Don't take this.
I don't know, because I'm of the opinion that, you see, to raise someone that is already a grown up man, you have to be patient. I learned this the hard way. You have to be extremely, extremely patient. So I say to females, again, if you're going to go into any relationship, for the first 1 week or whatever time you're getting to know each other, you need to know what you can take.
Yeah.
If you can't take it, please let him go, because he fits your ideal man, but you know you cannot take certain things that he does, and you know you don't have the patience to see him through it, and you know you can't take it if after you've seen him through all of this, he becomes a better person and he leaves. You know you can't take it. Leave it before he gets too
But if he
far.
gets better, do you have a right to go to meet him when he's now in a new relationship and demand that he is not as good to her as you've made him be, but he reverts back to whatever it was
I
he
mean,
was?
the truth is that we're all products of the relationships we've been through. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's for the girl to move on. I was in a relationship before I met my wife where I kind of looked down the road like 5-10 years, and I knew I couldn't cope with what was ahead. There was tradition, there was taking up the responsibility of the family, and I was just like, what, turning 20. Logically, and I'm a very logical guy, it didn't make sense. I didn't have finance, I couldn't cope. So the breakup was me saying, look, I don't want to waste your time. I'm not ready. When I'm ready, you might not, I mean, I'll be asking so much of you, and there's no guarantee that when I am ready, it will still be you. And it was one of the toughest decisions I had to make, and I had to just break it off. Is that whole, you know, give a dog a bone, give a dog a bone, let the dog roam and find his way home. Sometimes you just need to let some people go. And if it does work out well, they come back. But I made that decision, and my expectations were they're things I could live with. So that was my strategy, and I think people should not be too selfish. You know, it's when you're being selfish and you're like, oh, I've invested in this guy. You know, we went through school.
But how can you not be selfish? And when people say, oh, don't take it personal, it just didn't work. It wasn't you, it was me. And I said, but I, like you said, invested. I have literally poured
but it's like,
a part of me. My essence, it will forever be with you.
It's like gambling.
You expect too
much. It's a gamble. Yeah, it's a gamble.
You expect too much.
All right, if you want to win a lottery, they always say you need to first of all buy the ticket. In the process of you investing in the guy, you will discover things about yourself which will be very instrumental to your next relationship, if there is one. When you have that kind of an open mind, you will be able to manage yourself. in as much as I've invested in the lady I talked about back in the days, you know, a lot of things like financial, schooling, and all that stuff, I was happy for her. I was happy to just let her. I wasn't bitter. It's the bitterness and the entitlement that leads to that enraged feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
And the foundation of that is I want it for me. I want this guy, he must marry me. What if you were just in his life for that phase, just to get him through that phase? You know, so it's like I said, it depends on who you are and knowing the person that you're with, and that is the challenge, and it's not easy.
So we all read blogs and we see guys and girls dress all kinds of interesting. We've had all kinds of fashion weeks that happen in Nigeria. So what about the person that you really like? Everything else about them is perfect, but they insist on, it's a guy and he insists on wearing dresses. I've seen a lot of our male celebrities wear some very dodgy things of late.
Can I take that? Again, it's what you can cope with.
Yeah.
I can't. So I'm sorry, it can't work. I can't cope with it. So
but at least he's been honest. He's been honest about dressing with his dress. So.
It doesn't have to be me, you see, because if you can't force a man to do anything. And this is not just me saying because I'm here talking to you. This is what it is. You can't force a man to do anything. So if he cannot decide to dress like a man because that's what you want and he loves you, that means...
Well, not necessarily dress like a man, but dress like the kind of man you want him to look like. Right?
That means he's not ready to make a major decision with you. And that's okay. I just need to move on.
Isn't it worth like buying the shirts and the tie, whatever
you see, when you waste so much time thinking, when you waste so much time thinking you can change it, and then you feel like you've invested too much. But if you tell yourself the truth from the beginning, you will just walk away and you will be fine.
I mean, my example is not the best example. When I was courting, I had dreads. I was growing dreads. I wanted to have this long dreads. I just come out of a relationship. I was on the, rebel path or whatever. And it was a way of just, it was an outlet. And when I started there, I was like, okay, this is getting serious. I was meeting the in-laws, and to pass a positive message, I had two options, which was cut my hair, look responsible. Why? Because the family I was going into was a traditional family, or middle finger, you either take my dreads or you don't. But the reason I compromised was, what is the end game? Okay, to get the family on board, to make the transition smoother. When I get into the marriage, if it does work out, I can grow my dreads. Compromise. You
were confident that you won't be bald by then.
But as
real life issues.
As little as that example is, the principle is still the same. What are you willing to sacrifice for that person? The person must be worth the sacrifice, and more importantly, the person must be worth the pain they will bring to you. You know, and once you get, I wasn't ready. I was just saying, I think we're both not ready to marry when we did. No. And that was part of the ingredients that made the marriage work, because our expectations were low. We're not looking for Mr. Right or Mr.
Okay.
We just hit it on and took it one day at a time. So I think it's easier that way to manage.
All right, we've run out of time this episode. For me, the key message that I'm going to remember is go into it with low expectations. Absolutely invest in yourself, but make sure that when you're trying to help raise this person to be the kind of person you want, don't try to change them too much. And if they go along with what you're doing, great. If you break up, great. If they're doing all the things that you taught them with somebody else, be happy for the person that's enjoying them next. You people are not nice. Not nice at all. Thank you very much for watching Love Lounge, and we hope that you watch us again very soon. So I'll do all this work and I will not be clapping and be happy for my enemy.
The one about the
it's like creating.
The one about the guy moving on and then the other baby is enjoying it. I can't really support it.
No, but what would you do? Would you put a knife to his neck and say to him,
when I met you, you didn't have a job, you didn't have clothes. I made you look good.
How did you make him? He made a decision to look good.
No.
How did you make him?
I showed you what good looks like. You looked in the mirror like, you know what? I can.